when we went before the JPC, so there were two scopes and two approaches to address this issue. First scope was that the Waqf Act 1995 may totally be repealed. The Waqf may be treated as a trust, like the properties of trust are registered. In the same manner, the properties of Waqf is also registered. That was one approach. But when we went before the JPC very clearly told us that our zone and our scope is very, very narrow. We cannot go for a total repeal. We cannot recommend for a total repeal of the Waqf Act 1995. Kindly point out those provisions which are in contravention of the Constitution of India. Kindly point out those provisions which are in violation of the which are in violation of Article 14 of the Constitution of India. Now we have given a detailed presentation to the JPC of 49 slides. Now, very crucial aspect is just what you are pointing out, that Waqf Act, you are citing the example of Kerala. The issue is this, that still in this amendment bill, it is not clear that the Waqf Act 1995 will not apply to non-Muslims. The Waqf Act 1995 will not apply to properties of ASI. The Waqf Act 1995 will not apply to properties of societies which are registered under the Societies Registration Act. The Waqf Act will not apply to the properties which are registered under the Trust Act 1882. So these are certain lacunas which are there in the present amendment bill. Apart from that, the power of survey which is given to the Waqf for Waqf properties, that suppose survey is being carried out, and at the time of the survey, if dispute arises, for example, just for example, if any house is being surveyed under the Waqf survey, and at that time a dispute arises that you cannot conduct survey on this house because this house belongs to a non-Muslim, and we have ownership documents. At that point of time, my suggestion was immediately the matter should be referred to the civil court and survey for that property must stop. Because still this lacuna is there in the present amendment bill, that if the survey is carried out and you are agreed by the survey, you have to challenge it before the Waqf tribunal.
No, but now
So
the
we are,
amendment says earlier the surveys were being conducted by their appointed commissioners. Now the new amendment says that the district collector will do these surveys. Are you not happy with that?
not happy, because if district collector is doing the survey, what will the district collector of West Bengal do? What will the district collector of Tamil Nadu do? And how can you give such a blatant power to a district collector to conduct survey of Waqf properties? I ask a question, isn't it not discriminatory whether the district collector is doing survey in Karnataka of all the temples, whether the district collector is doing survey of all the temples in Tamil Nadu, whether there is any provision in the constitution that a collector will do survey of a religious property? Forget argument of discrimination for a moment. I am giving a practical example that if district collector is doing survey and at that point of time there's a dispute which arises that this property is not a Waqf property, you cannot do survey of this property. So I have suggested that that dispute must go to the civil court, not to the Waqf tribunal. Because ordinarily,
But now any decision that happens as far as deeming a property as a Waqf property can anyways be challenged in the High Court within 90 days. So that litigation option is available.
it has
If
to
we
be
don't
challenged
trust
before the no, it
if we
has to be
don't trust
challenged before
district
the
collectors, then of course, a lot of the administration will come crumbling down. I understand where you're coming from,
no,
but
no.
you must also
And it's not
understand that the
about,
district
it's not,
collector will only look at land records. He's not looking at whether land is religious or not.
it's not the question of being apprehensive about the district collector. There are
Hmm.
two arguments so far as the survey is being carried out by the district collector. First argument is of discrimination, that whether such kind of provision is there for any other section of the society, which was the foundational argument when we all raised this grievance against the Waqf Act 1995. So only the body has been changed, but the provision remains intact. And apart from that, the district collector conducting the survey, that is one limb of the submission. The second limb is that if there's a dispute, why we have to go to why we have to, it's not High Court, I'm sorry, it is Waqf tribunal. Why we have to go to the Waqf tribunal? We have to
But the
go to the
Waqf
civil court.
tribunal's
Just a minute.
decision.
Let me explain. Let me explain it. For Gyanvapi case, where I've gone to the civil court and I'm fighting a long legal battle. For Krishna Janmabhoomi, the matter is pending in the civil court. Sambal dispute is pending in the civil court. Why Waqf tribunal? And please answer this question and ask everyone who is writing articles on this, that can you form a tribunal in violation of Article 323A and Article 323B of the Constitution of this country? Under Article 323A and B, the subjects are mentioned on which the union and the state legislature can form a tribunal. Waqf is not a subject under Article 323A and 323B. So a tribunal which is per se unconstitutional, you are asking that the district magistrate should collect the survey, should conduct the survey, and if I'm aggrieved by the survey, I should go before an unconstitutional authority, which is the Waqf tribunal.
So one second, there are two issues getting mixed here. Now, earlier the tribunal's decision was virtually final. In very rare
No,
cases,
that is
they were
wrong
going to
perception.
court.
That is wrong
It- they-
perception.
No, in
Earlier
rare
also,
cases, they were going to court.
no,
But
it
now-
is wrong perception. It is
Hmm.
wrong perception that tribunal's decision was final. If you challenge it, it was final within a period of time. If you
Right.
challenge it within a period of time, you can challenge it before the High Court. Always the decision of Waqf tribunal was subject to a challenge before the High Court. And it is, and everyone who's a law-knowing person in this country, all the decisions of tribunal are not final. You can challenge it before the High Court and the Supreme Court. For example, the decision of NGT, for example, the decision of Income Tax Tribunal, for example, the decision of SAT, CAT, all these decisions are subject to appeal before the High Court or the Supreme Court.
Yeah, my
So-
point
so-
being that the tribunal decided on its own whether it was Waqf land or not. The onus of proving otherwise fell on whoever else was the opposite party. And obviously, there is a conflict of interest here where the tribunal cannot decide whether a property is Waqf or not.
I am on the part that this survey which is being carried out by the collector as of now and the proposed amendment bill, first of all, we have to bring it under lot of checks and balances. Suppose
Okay.
any property of a non-Muslim is going in this survey, why can't there be a remedy at that point of time only? At that point of time only, that when you are doing survey, and for example, I'm just giving you a simile. Under the Land Acquisition Act, when a property was notified, under the old Land Acquisition Act, when a property was notified under Section 4, which is called a preliminary notification, there was a provision to give objections. And then final notification used to come under Section 6. So same thing I've suggested, that if there's a survey which is being carried out by the collector, and at that point of time a dispute arises that this particular property is not a Waqf property, please give me a remedy at that point of time. That
So
immediately
I'm sure the
if there's
district collector, the remedy would be the district collector is a neutral party, more neutral than earlier, and will not deem it as a Waqf property if contrary evidence is provided.
See, this you are assuming. Now there are many politicians in the parliament who have also raised apprehensions so far as the role of district collector are concerned. And we know that district collector functions under the mandate of the state government. I am not against anybody. It's a constitutional argument. It's an argument where we are talking about what the law should be. So I'm not
I'm
saying that.
sensing-
Yeah.
I am sensing that the new Waqf Act will also be possibly brought under challenge by legal
Definitely.
luminaries like you in courts.
No, not by me, because see, I'll very honestly tell you, I have appreciated this Waqf Amendment Act 2024 because many of the draconian provisions, for example, the concept of Waqf by user has been totally taken
Yeah.
away by this present amendment act. The concept of Section 40, which gave absolute power to the Waqf board, that you can declare any property as Waqf property, Section 41 and 40 subclause 3. That section has been totally repealed. The concept of limitation has been repealed. Evacuee property concept under Section 107, 108 has been repealed. Then many other provisions like this have been repealed so far as government properties are concerned. But still, there are certain reckoners, like for example, there was a qualification for a member, there was a qualification to be a member of the Waqf tribunal, that was that you should be a Islamic scholar. That has been taken off. So I appreciated the bill that yes, we have
But there are still
started
some
this.
issues left.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. See,
So
we
let me
have
ask you
some-
one question.
Yes.
Let me ask you one question. You are someone who's fighting cases in courts of some of the very holy Hindu sites and to reclaim those sites. Now, these are historical claims on those sites. Now, interestingly, what Muslim bodies are saying that, you know, in many of these cases, like the recent case in Kerala, there is a history of a Muslim ruler or a Muslim person who had that land under his control and then later donated that land to Waqf. Now, what do we do in cases where there is history of a Muslim person doing such act? Whether the land was registered or not is a separate issue, because we're talking about historical things here. Not all lands were registered at that time. These are similar cases that you are fighting. This is on the religiosity of that land.
Yes.
What do we
See,
do in those cases?
see, first of all, we have to understand that as per very strict understanding of Islamic law, there are only two ways post 2024 amendment by which
Hmm.
a property can be deemed to be a Waqf property. The first was that Waqf by registration.
Hmm.
And it was a mandate under the Islamic law that if you want to do any property as a Waqf property, there has to be a Waqf deed. And let me tell you, so far as Taj Mahal issue is concerned, the matter is pending adjudication in the Supreme Court. Precisely this was the question which was asked by the Honorable Court, that where is the Waqf deed by Shah Jahan? Until date, the matter has not been heard. After 2018, you can do all the
Hmm.
research. And the Taj Mahal was declared as Waqf property by UP Sunni Central Waqf Board. The matter ASI is under appeal in the Supreme Court. The matter is pending adjudication in the Supreme Court. So you have to show registration document. It is not like that registration is a mandate of today's era. Registration having a Waqf deed was a mandate from past very old times. And in Gyanvapi case also, this issue arose that where did Aurangzeb do the Waqf deed so far as Gyanvapi was concerned, and no Waqf deed could have been shown. There are many properties where Waqf deed are existing, which are 300 years old, 400 years old.
Okay.
So to overcome this hurdle, under the Waqf Act 1995, two draconian provisions were introduced. First was that the original definition of Waqf, which was of Bailey and Mullah's Mohammedan law, which I narrated before you at the beginning of my conversation with you, were taken off. The second draconian thing was that the concept of Waqf by user was
Hmm.
introduced. So if you're using any property for and number of years are also not mentioned. So if you're using any property, suppose for 5 years, 6 years, 100 years, 50 years, 3 years, 2 years, everything can be deemed to be Waqf by user. And we have seen this misuse of Waqf by user concept so far as Bangalore's Eidgah Maidan is concerned. If you remember, a section of the Hindu community wanted to celebrate Ganpati festival there, and there it was refused, saying that this Eidgah Maidan is a Waqf property, and when title documents were asked, they said it's a Waqf by user. So,
Hmm.
so these
Okay.
two things, Waqf by user and registration, were the concepts which were brought in. And now coming to a question that so far as Kerala is concerned, you have to have a mandatory Waqf deed. You have to have
Okay.
a Waqf deed. Without a Waqf deed, you cannot say that this property belongs to Waqf.